A good early Sunday afternoon to you, Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights. This weather video is driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin City Subaru, and 802 Honda, all located off of Exit 7 on Interstate 89. Looking at an area of low pressure across Quebec, it's dragging a frontal system that is producing a little bit of rain showers. Also, some breaks in the clouds are finally seeing a little bit of that drier air entrainment, but a wind will switch. We're not looking at anything major. This is not going to be causing major gradient winds or anything like that, but it will introduce us to colder weather around the corner. Today, not so much. On this Saturday, temperatures are pushing up into the 40s. And as we look at that, based on the temperatures, we can see 41 degrees even at Montreal. Behind that, colder air will be swinging in. It'll be a gradual process. It looks a little bit more incremental than a sharp temperature fall that's going to take place on Monday afternoon, but it does look like the coldest weather, according to the European model, is going to be a little bit more incremental and a little bit more gradual, and that sets up basically the coldest weather for more late in the week. But the whole week, really starting right from Monday, will be a trending downward in temperature and then continuing, kind of leveling off, it looks like. Nothing I would call extreme at this point, but some Arctic chill in the neighborhood and temperatures that could be in the single digits. And it's also going to depend on how much snow on the ground. Now, we've lost a lot of snow now, and we could make up a little bit with some minor accumulation along about Monday evening, and then by Tuesday morning, we're looking at a drying out trend with a couple fairly nice days, Tuesday and Wednesday. It does look like we have a significant potential snowfall for southern parts of New England. If that shifts north, that could be more of an issue for us here. But it doesn't look like it would be a utility issue, as it looks like it'll be very cold air mass, and that means a fluffy accumulations, and there could be several inches of a fluffy accumulation in southern parts of Vermont. And as you head toward the coastal areas of southern New England, that's where we could see some wet snow loading potential there. But it looks like right now, very little impacts through this entire period, and no gradient winds either. Quick look at the climate reanalyzer here for 2-meter temperatures. We can see that the warmth is along the eastern seaboard. A little bit of extensions into parts of eastern Canada. Coldest of all cold, looks like it's from eastern Alaska, the Yukon into the northern Rockies, and then in clumps spread across certain parts of eastern Canada as well. Greenland back into a good portion of the Arctic is starting to show up a little bit more blocking, high latitude blocking up in that general area. That's causing the Arctic oscillation to be in a negative phase. And as we go here, this is the anomalous temperatures at 850 hectopascals, approximately the top of Mount Mansfield. It's a very good indicator here where our above normal temperatures you can see over in the northeast U.S. and parts of Vermont, Maine, New Hampshire, and so forth is going to be taking a track and heading out. And that's going to get replaced by incrementally cooler air. But note, it's not really significant. We're looking at this air mass here about 10 to 15 degrees below normal in the darker purples. That does try to make it into Vermont, and then it lifts on out, it looks like, along about Wednesday. So it's kind of establishes itself and then incrementally kind of wanes, and then another reinforcing shot takes place as we head into the late part of the week. But latest indications are this is not going to be super duper unusual with this cold weather just around the corner. Now, eventually, we're going to get into some warming. This is valid along about Friday night into Saturday of this next coming weekend. Looking at the European incrementals, there's that area of low pressure tracking north of us in Quebec, dragging a little bit of a cold front, and we do dry out, and an area of higher pressure begins to build across the region. This takes place on Monday, but a little bit more significantly, this second weather system here, the northern polar branch, and this will bring us a little bit of, looks like some snow shower activity. It's not really going to be a big amount or anything, but a little bit bluster in the backside as this area of higher pressure begins to build in. Slightly tighter pressure gradient. However, it looks like the gradient winds will not be any kind of an issue, but it'll be blustery at times as we head into during the overnight period, Monday night into Tuesday. And that area of higher pressure should build in for what should be 2 fine days of dry weather. Good project weather, 1035 hectopascal area of higher pressure. Pushes right in the vicinity, just a little to the north of us across the St. Lawrence Valley. That's valid Wednesday morning at about 8 a.m. Then that system then pushes on out, and here comes what could be a significant snowfall for the southern part of coastal New England, and some of that gets into the southern half of Vermont. This is about a 50-50 prospect at this point. Now, the GFS ensemble, the GFS is not illustrating this. However, it had been, and the models have really been having a difficult time trying to project this particular snowfall. However, if it does develop a little bit further to the north, we could see a pretty good fluffy snowfall with that, as these temperatures will be cold, brought into this particular air mass, 1037 hectopascal up there in eastern parts of Quebec, and then going into Labrador and the Canadian Maritimes. So it could leave us a swath of snow, especially in the southern counties of Vermont, where we might even see snowfall as good as 6 inches. But fluffy snow should not be an issue for utilities. Eventually, on the backside of that, area of higher pressure builds in, which should be some decent weather as we head in through Friday, and probably some good sunshine at that point with that elongated area of low pressure right there. That's the total QPF by the GFS Canadian Ensemble. Pretty amazing there. You can see the highlights here. A little bit of rain shower activity earlier on, and then cold enough all for snow here through this entire period. Not a whole lot to show here. Again, the total amounts of QPF look like this, and precipitation type also is pretty much illustrated here. We go from warm enough to rain on the rest of Sunday, and then a little bit of snow shower activity and so forth. Weather Prediction Center is really causing this to be more or less a coastal hugger. Not as much precipitation thrown inland, but good enough for probably better than 3 inches along this line here. This would be probably greater than 6 inches. And so decent amounts of fluffy snow, and then the main bulk of that is going to be across southern New England, where the snow will be wetter right along the coast. And back to temperature we go here now. We'll look at the 2-meter temperatures. They look like this. And you have the, of course, the projection of the plotted surface temperatures at 2 meters from the European is a better diagram to look at. But overall, not a lot to see here except for one major cool down. Now that's the 2-meter temperature. Dew points look like this, kind of illustrate that. And then at 850 hectopascal at Top Mount Mansfield elevation, you can see that temperatures are below 0 degrees centigrade or 32 degrees Fahrenheit. No issues there, all snow, that's all good. Weighted temperatures from Moss look like this. Across Vermont, we're talking about -6 in general. And then about 3 days later, that's for the next 5 afternoon daily high temperatures. So below normal, and then that'll continue that way. And we're starting to see some inroads here of a major warm-up across parts of southern Canada. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights, thanks for watching.